Lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the party. Roll up to the lit. Roll up to the party.
Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. There's nothing to say for that, but what we need to do is listen to Joe Hart first of all and get Joe Hart's take on the game, because was that 2 points dropped tonight to the One Celtic Fans in the Champions League? I think we all think it was, don't we?
And what do you reckon? A point gained, a missed opportunity, or maybe a little bit of both?
Definitely a bit of both. 100% a bit of both. That's the conversation. That's the levels that Celtic have set in these last couple of games. But look, ultimately, like we say, the whole job for this campaign was to qualify. And I think they're doing it really, really well. Structured well. They look solid. They look like they're ready for knockout football. They look like they're going to earn the right to be a part of knockout football.
There we go. Hey, there we go. I don't know what happened there, but we're back. Anyway, it's probably better that you never heard what I said, because I was having a rant. Yep, I was having a rant. Anyway. Oh, muted. You're talking to yourself. I'm always talking to myself. It's the only way that I get on in life, really. It's the only way I get on in life. Let's start again. But we could have been sitting third. We could have been sitting in the top 8, and it was disappointing. And I do mean that. I thought it was there for the taking tonight. It was there for the taking tonight. And when you could have been sitting third. When you see that game back, there's so many details that we need to talk about. And there we go. Sounds on. We want Baz meltdown. Says Mr. Quinn. Shut the door. Dogs in. Where do you start? Greg Taylor gets booked the first half and early on. To be fair on Greg Taylor, I don't think it was a booking. Rio Hatate. I'm going to leave that there. And Rio Hatate was terrible tonight. Absolutely fucking terrible. It was shocking. Rio Hatate turned and passed it to the middle of the box, and there was nobody there. Open your eyes and look who you're in. He was passing back. His whole gameplay was absolutely terrible. I said in the pub that Rio Hatate should maybe be taken off at half time. I thought Greg Taylor should be taken off at half time. I just hope that the manager comes out and tells us that Ali Johnson's okay, and it was precautionary because we need Ali Johnson for the game at the weekend. Luke McCowan needs to start the game on Sunday, 100%. It's then up between Paulo Bernardo and Arne Engels that starts in the midfield with Callum McGregor. I thought Rio Hatate, he's never done himself any good tonight. Terrible, absolutely terrible. And Rio Hatate he's becoming an enigma, right? He's becoming an enigma at Celtic. He's either really fucking fantastically good as a player, or he's selfish and he's got his selfish head on and his passing's woeful, absolutely woeful. Mr. Magoo would have passed a better ball. When we look at the team, right? I mean, I called the team last night, and it's Brendan Rodgers' strongest team. It's what he would have saw as his strongest team tonight. You've got Schmeichel, you've got Johnston, you've got Carter Vickers, you've got Trustane Taylor, right? I think it's Alex Bailly's turn to come in. I think that Taylor, when it comes to Champions League, I'm sorry. And I know that Brendan Rodgers loves him playing that inverted role, and don't get me talking about Tony Ralston. Because although the Brickie's good, Tony Ralston's not Champions League level. He is not Champions League level. Tony Ralston will never be Champions League level. He's fine for the SPFL, but he is no good. Nico Kuhn never saw a ball in the second half. Tony Ralston was coming too far into the middle of the park, and it was leaving Nico Kuhn on the wing in his cell. He's telling Nico Kuhn to run further forward. Tony, you need to get to the fucking ball first, and then hit fucking Nico Kuhn up the park. Honest to God, man. Anyway, Bernardo to start of Engels all day long is woeful. Ralston frustrates me. Ralston frustrates the living daylights out of me. I mean, Ralston will run through a brick wall for Celtic. There's no denying that, right? There's no denying that Tony Ralston will run through a brick wall. There we go. Tony, go through it. But Alex Bailly is a lot faster and intelligent. He is that, Liam. He is that. He's a lot better. DJ Singh's in the house. Travesty that we never won that opportunity. A point gained. No, it's not a point gained. It's 2 points dropped. I'm going to say it as it is. It's 2 points dropped as far as I'm concerned. I thought Celtic had a fantastic opportunity. When we look at the ratings, the standing in the Champions League at the moment, Sporting are in third. They're currently winning 1-0. Celtic currently sit 18th in the league. 18th. We could have, if we had won that game, we could have been sitting in the top 8 tonight. As it stands just now, we could have been sitting top 8 of the Champions League. Automatic qualification into the last 16. £9.2 million within our grasp. £9.2 million within our grasp. I know there's still 2 games to go, but one of them was a dead cert for a win. One, I still think that we can get 4 points at the remaining 2 games. I definitely think that we can get 4 points at the remaining 2 games. But for us to be able to say tonight, before the game's kicked off, that we could have been sitting in the top 8 of the Champions League, automatic qualification to the last 16. I just think it was definitely... The rest of European football must have been looking at Celtic tonight and going, come on, Celtic, turn up. Just turn up. Do your thing. Do your thing. All we needed was the quicker passing. What happened to the one-touch pass? One-touch pass, gone. Totally disappeared the first half. Too slow the first half. Trusty and Cameron Carter-Vickers were too slow in getting it out to anybody. Rio Hatate were going from the left-hand side to the right-hand side and then back, and then coming back into the middle of the park where Callum McGregor sits, and then passing the ball back to... you're just like, fucking, geez, a break, man. I think we blew it against Bruges to go top 8. No, we would have went top, Craig, we would have went top 8 now. We would have been top 8 tonight if we won tonight. If we'd won tonight and if we'd won against Club Bruges, we're top 8. We're a top 8 team. We fly through into that. We make history, right? But we haven't. We haven't. There's too many players at Celtic that do not believe themselves at this high level. There's far too many players that think they want to play at a higher level. And I'm going to name and shame Rio Hatate. Rio Hatate is a player that thinks that domestically he wants to... He said it 2 summers in a row. 2 summers in a row he has said it. He said, I want to play football. He said to his Japanese media, I want to play domestic football at a higher level. You hand him the higher level on a plate. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. He didn't turn up. He just didn't. I don't know what he was doing. He should have been taken off a lot earlier. I would not... As many points... as the points stand, still many games to play. when you look at the games that are left to play, I think that we'll still finish on 12 points. Will 12 points get us automatic? No, it won't. Who's Munich playing? Aston Villa have just went third in the Champions League. Aston Villa have just went third in the Champions League. They're winning 1-0. We could have been top 8 tonight. Aston Villa have just jumped up about 5 places. More than that. Because they were done at around 12 or something, weren't they? So Aston Villa have just jumped up. As it stands just now, we're only 12 minutes into the game, but as it stands, Aston Villa have just jumped up to third in the Champions League. You need to take your chances at this level. You need your players to turn up. There was too many players tonight were just too passive and too slow, and I think Brendan Rodgers will feel that the players didn't do themselves justice. They did not do themselves justice tonight, and that for me is a travesty, an absolute travesty that this team didn't take the bull by the horn and didn't show what they can do. They had an opportunity tonight to show the world. All eyes were on the earlier games, right? There was only 2 games tonight, only 2 early games. Liverpool, they won their game. Celtic with the other early game. We had the eyes of European football looking on us saying, let's see Celtic do what we know they can do it. We know they can do it, and they just never got that. They never just, it's fucking unbelievable. There's reasons why we are linked with the Chelsea midfielder on loan in January. I reckon Hatate will be off. Good. I want Hatate. No more making excuses for Rio Hatate. Right? No more lay off Rio Hatate. He's fucking let us down again in the Champions League. He needs to go. He wants away. Let him go. It's as simple as that. Brendan Rodgers will know that we need a midfield general to help out Callum McGregor. We need somebody that's got a bit of bottle in midfield. We need somebody that Callum McGregor's played with way better players in the midfield than Rio Hatate. Callum McGregor had his 100th game for Celtic tonight, and this midfield has to go down as one of the poorest performances in midfield from any Celtic team. Scott Brown would have fucking annihilated that team tonight. Scott Brown would have annihilated that team. Could you imagine Scott Brown in that team tonight? A few years ago, he would have absolutely annihilated that team tonight. It is just, Hatate did not only, and for Hatate taking his strip off when he's subbed off, taking his strip off and walking up the fucking side of the pitch. Anyway, unbelievable. He won the game at Aberdeen. Hatate was absolute shite tonight. Anyway, let's jump into the comment section and see what's on. Danny Cassie's first up, plus I would say he was going for 2-1 now. It was a draw, mate. Ian says, sell Hatate. He's taking the cream puff for ages now, and earning is a load of shite. Yep, Ian, some fans chop him, change their mind. Rambo. There's one thing I've never done. I've never chopped and changed my mind week in, week out. I've said for long enough that Rio Hatate has said publicly that he wants away from Celtic. If you look at his form last season, David Turnbull was better than Rio Hatate at the early start of the season. Rio Hatate was dropped the first games of the season because David Turnbull was in better form than Rio Hatate. The beginning of this season, again, Rio Hatate's form had dipped because he wasn't sold. He said to the Japanese media, again, for the second season in a row, that he wants to play at a higher level domestically. The big question is, why won't Rodgers try Cummins? That's a massive, massive question, because Daniel Cummins can play on the wing also. And it was interesting that we actually went 4-4-2 at one point tonight, towards the end of the game. If you can't win, don't lose. Jamesy boy, you cannot say that tonight. With all honesty, you cannot say, if you can't win, don't lose. That game was there for the taking. That game was there for the taking tonight. It was 2 points dropped all day long. You cannot... You'll never change my mind about Taylor. Get him to fuck... Yeah, yes. Lennon Miller would have been better in that game than Paul. You're spot on. I think that there's Taylor's pish. Taylor is pish, but the manager is trying to convince him to stay. I don't think that he is the player we need at this level, and neither's Tony Rowson. You can say what you like about Tony Rowson, but anyway, Joe Legend, Kaiser's in the house. Shite result, if I'm honest. Chilpil, it was a terrible result. The game was there for the taking. Kalmack needs someone in midfield that thinks along the lines that he does. Rio Hatate can do it, right? Luke McCowan, when he came on, Luke McCowan had a fantastic shot. Luke McCowan did more in 2 minutes than Rio Hatate did in 60 minutes. That's the difference. 9 points is a decent in the grand scheme of things, but really need to have 5 players, definitely better, a French mob. The Cream Buns played. B10 Hacker or whatever your name is, 9 points is a decent amount, but we could have been on 11. It was 2 points dropped tonight. Let's not paper over the cracks. Let's not say, I bet it's a Champions League away game. They were absolute shite. Dynamo Zagreb were fucking terrible. They wanted the draw. AJ is okay, Rogers just said. That's good. Hopefully it was just a precaution. It was just a precaution, and that he's going to be okay for this weekend. There's players that I just don't think should get anywhere near the pitch this weekend. One being Rio Hatate. I don't think he should get the game this weekend. Imagine fans be furious because we didn't get a beat away from home. My ball, of course you're going to be furious because we didn't get a beat away from home. We should have won that game. If you're not upset at the performance and the opportunity that we had tonight, you need to think. You need to start thinking about it, because it's 2 points dropped. They were there for the taking. They were terrible. They were playing for a draw tonight. They played for a draw. Celtic are so much better than we showed tonight. So much better. 100 times better. But the players just didn't turn up. Chilwell says 2 points dropped, and that'll be the last point at Zagreb pick up. It will be the last point at Zagreb pick up, because I think that they play Arsenal next, and even the Huns would have beaten that mob. Yeah, Peter King, don't even get me started. Carly says, in the past 20 years, and you're all moaning about earning a point away. Carly, that we should have beaten that team tonight, right? We've all been there over the last 20 years, and it's right. Put it this way, Carly. Right? Here's another way to look at it. This is how far we've progressed, right? This is how far we've progressed, that we're actually upset about dropping 2 points in the Champions League. That's the way to look about it. So you can turn that around. I mean, you can say that we're moaning about getting a draw, but we've came that far on now in the Champions League. We know that we're a side that can compete, but the players tonight just didn't compete, and that's it. End of. I think they were lucky to get a draw. They had the better chance. I think they were lucky to get a draw. Are you joking? Did you not see the chance, the fantastic save that the defender made for Adamida to put us in front? I mean, you could say that our keeper did fantastic to tip one over the bar. But there was only one team. There was only one team that was trying to win tonight. There was only one team that was trying to win tonight, and that was Celtic. And that's why some fans are disappointed about being upset. There's being upset and they're slagging off some players. They're sickening. My ball. There's players that just aren't. If you want Celtic to be good, right, and if you want Celtic to compete at the highest level, you have to be realistic about what players bring to the team. And some of the players are just not there, and they're not good enough for Celtic at this level. Brendan Rodgers knows it. Brendan Rodgers is wanting to bring in another winger, because he knows that the wingers aren't fast enough. He wants to bring in another midfielder that can control that midfield. You know, it's not slagging off players, it's about being realistic. And if you're not allowed to be realistic, and we're all allowed a view on this, it is called the One Celtic Fans View, we should have won this game tonight. In my opinion, we should have won the game tonight. And there's lots of people that have the same opinion. Slagging off players, listen, many people slagged off Paulo Bernardo last season, saying he was utter shite and he should go. Rio Hatate was woeful tonight. It was, and if you want to defend Rio Hatate, fucking defend Rio Hatate. He was woeful tonight. My feeling is that he is given an opportunity again to prove that he's the top player that he thinks he is, and he let himself down and he let Celtic down. That's all I'm saying. Needs to be better all over the pitch for Sunday. Yes, it does that. I would have taken 12 points for this group at the start. I said 12 points at the start of the Champions League. I did say 12 points, and I think that we'll still get to that 12-point mark. It wasn't Dynamo Kiev, it was Dynamo Kiev. The team we were up against was that. Yeah, I know, fucking Dynamo. I know. Anyway, you answered your own fucking question, Craig. Anyway, I'm away to watch some football. On that note, I'm fucking done. Have a fantastic evening, Celtic fans all around.